Good morning, children, and welcome to today's English class. Today we are going to learn spellings. Spellings? What are spellings, ma'am? And why should we learn? This could be your question. And the answer lies in your question. You must have seen that whenever you make spelling mistakes, your teacher asks you to check properly and then submit your composition. Therefore, a spelling mistake might change the meaning of an entire word. So, spellings are very important, children. Spelling is the process of representing language by means of a writing system. So, what is the need to learn spellings? This was your question. English spellings can be confusing, especially for non-native speakers and writers. So, certain spelling rules would be helpful for proper writing, although there are always some exceptions, is it not? Whenever you make rules, there are always exceptions. So, let's quickly dive into the spelling rules. The first rule, doubling consonant. Double the ending consonant in a CVC word before joining the suffixes or ending which begin with vowels like ing, ed, er and est. So whenever you use these suffixes which begin with vowels along with a word which is in the CVC pattern, that is a consonant vowel consonant pattern, then you have to double the last consonant before adding it to the suffix. Okay, so see the example here. Run plus ing becomes running where n is doubled. Run plus er becomes runner where n is doubled. While making a noun of a verb. The next point in this rule is, whenever you make a noun of a verb, here rob is a verb, robber is a noun. So by adding the suffix er, you have made a noun from a verb. So when you have done this, then you observe that the consonant is doubled. That is, B is doubled. Do not double letters when there are two vowels before the last consonant. So whenever you have two vowels before the last consonant, then you should not double the consonant. Okay, see the example here. Shout plus ing, shouting. OU are two vowels which are vowels before the last consonant. Then you should not double T. So shouting has single T. We do not double when there are two consonants at the end of the word. Like here, rich, where there are two consonants, plus ER is richer, so H does not get doubled. Few examples which follow all these rules are worship, worshipped, worshipping, where P is doubled. Travel, traveler, traveling, where L is doubled. Reap, reaped, reaping, where P is not doubled, as there are two vowels before it. Short, shorter, shortest, where T is not doubled because there are two consonants. Some exceptions to this rule are suffer, suffered, suffering. As you can see, these words come in the last with the CVC pattern, but even then, the last consonant R is not doubled. Suffer, suffered, suffering. Offer, offered, offering. Differ, differed, differing. So in all these three examples, the consonant R does not double itself. The next rule is of the final E. Drop the silent final E when adding suffixes starting with a vowel. For example, the suffixes able, acy, ed, ible and ing, they all begin with vowels. So when you add these suffixes to a word which ends with E, you have to drop the E and then add the suffix. For example, balance, balanced. So we have dropped E and added ed. Similarly, hope, hoped. Desire, desirable. Forgive, forgivable. Sense, sensible. Argue, arguing. In all these examples, we have dropped the last E before adding the suffixes and then added the suffix. Some exceptions are I seeing, foreseeing, etc. In these cases, I see ends with E, but then it is retained. Foreseeing ends with E, but E is retained when you are adding ing. So, E is retained before a suffix beginning with a consonant. So, the previous one was when a suffix begins with a vowel, but now when the suffixes begin with a consonant, then we have to retain the E without dropping it. Peace, peaceful. So, in the spelling peaceful, E is retained. Entire, entirely. Some exceptions to this rule are truly, wholly, advertisement, etc. So, in all these cases, we can see that in truly, E is dropped. Wholly, E is dropped. So, these are the exceptions. Now, coming to the next rule, the final Y. The next rule is of the final Y. The final Y following a consonant changes to I before a suffix. We all have done this, children, but we only need to know that these are the rules. So, the suffixes are ER, EST, LY, FUL, NESS or ED. So, when you add these suffixes to a word which ends with the consonant Y, in these cases, okay, we see that Y drops and changes to I. Okay, so beauty plus full gives beautiful, carry plus ed gives carried, happy plus ly gives happily. In all these cases, the last Y is dropped and I is added in that place. Exceptions are while adding ing. So, whenever you add ing to a word which ends with Y following a consonant, in these cases we do not drop Y because we have been adding the suffix ing. So, when you add suffix ing, do not drop Y. Carry, carrying, marrying, praying. So, carry your Y when you write carrying. Is it not? So, words ending in Y with vowel do not change. So, whenever you have a vowel before the Y, the previous rule was you have a consonant before Y, then the Y drops and I takes its place. But when you have a vowel before the Y, do not drop Y and add the suffix to it to make a new word. The next rule is of EI or IE. This is quite confusing, children. I comes before E when it's pronounced as E. So, whenever you pronounce any word as E, the IE combination is I and E. For example, we will take here brief, field, priest. So, in all these, IE is pronounced as E. So, I comes before E. The next rule, I before E except after C or when sounding like A, as in neighbor, way. So, whenever IE combination sounds as A, or if C comes before this IE combination, so IE becomes EI. Remember this, children. Examples are receive, deceive and sealing. Some exceptions to this rule are sovereign, the word sovereign, seized, counterfeit, forfeited and leisure. Now the next rule is about the suffix able or ible. So when do we use able? When do we use ible? Let's see. After root words, like whenever you have the root word, we add able and not ible. Okay? For example, avail, available. Depend, dependable. after root words ending in E. Example, desire, desirable. Desire ends with E. Believe, believable. So we drop the last E and add able. After I, reliable, sociable. So whenever you have Y at the end, as we have already said, so as soon as I comes, we have to add able and not ible. Continuing the rules, when other forms of the root word have a dominant A vowel. So when the other forms of the root word also are considered, but they have many vowels, but the dominant vowel is the A vowel in the word. Example, irritable, durable, abominable. After a hard C or G. Example, educable, navigable and practicable. So in this, C and G are hard pronunciations, is it not? Exceptions are formidable, inevitable, memorable, probable, indomitable and insuperable. Next, we'll understand about the suffix ible, ible. After non-root words, see the difference, children. There it was the root words with able. Now it is about the non-root words. Example, audible, horrible and possible. When the root has an immediate ion form. Example, digestible. For example, you have the digestion, digestible, suggestion, suggestible, conversion, convertible. So whenever you have ion as at the ending. Next, few more rules of able or ible endings. Okay, after root ending in ns or miss. So generally we use ible and not able. For example, responsible, comprehensible, permissible. After a soft C or G. So there it was after a hard C or G. Here it is about a soft C or G. Legible, negligible, forcible, invincible. So here C and G are softly pronounced. Exceptions are contemptible, resistible, collapsible and flexible. So these are some of the exceptions to the rules of ible suffix. The most important rule, children, silent letters, which often confuse us and we tend to make mistakes in our spellings. You must have thought, what caused English to have so many silent letters? So the answer is historical change. Letters added to make the spelling look Latin or French, borrowed words from other languages, sound combinations too difficult to say. Due to all these reasons, the English letter has got many silent letters in it. Let's look at few of these silent letters. A silent K and a silent G are found before N. No, nat, nut, campaign, knee, knife. In all these examples, G is silent before N, K stands silent before N. A silent H, R, honor, honest, air. So these four examples talk about a silent H. A silent P, Sam's, psychology, pseudonym. These three examples talk about a silent P. A silent W often goes before R. For example, wrapper, wrestle, wrong, wrist, right, wrinkle, wreck, ring. All these examples tell us that W goes silent before R. A silent U. Smolder. Smolder means burning without flame, only smoke. Biscuits. Savor. Savor is to taste. A silent B occurs after M and before T, both the ways. Lamb, thumb, bomb. And this example talks before T, that is debt. Debt. A silent L follows vowels A, O, U. So whenever you have the vowels A, O, U followed by L, it always stands silent. Like in cough, salmon, chalk, yolk. A silent GH, like in tot, cot, but. In these examples, GH is silent. So children, not only the rules would help you to have a good writing without spell errors, but the following 2 points also would help you to have a strong foundation in spellings. That is, read more and pay attention while reading, because when you come across different words and you look at them, then you can memorize the spellings. Then get corrections on your writing. Once you have written something, make sure you get it corrected by your teacher or a person who knows the language, because you will not repeat the mistake the next time. Understood, children? So keep in mind these 2 points, follow all the rules, learn the exceptions, make your spelling strong, and complete your textual exercises. Thank you, children.